Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before starting the video, please consider leaving a like. It really motivates us to keep sharing useful content. Also, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel and activate the little bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about Islamic faith. Thank you all and enjoy the video. What if the phone rings tomorrow? And on the other end is the voice that shifts everything you've been waiting and praying for. Not just any voice, but the one. The person Allah has prepared for your soul, your mission, and your journey. Sometimes, the most divine calls aren't heard through your ears first. They echo deep within the soul before the number ever shows up on your screen. You feel it before you see it. You sense something shifting in your life, as if heaven is arranging what you can't yet understand. You've been patient. You've cried. You've questioned. You've waited. And now, something in you whispers, it's close. There's a sacred kind of love that doesn't come from the world's standards. It's written by Allah Himself. A kingdom spouse is not just someone who gives you butterflies. It's someone who gives you peace. It's the one Allah has chosen to walk with you, to serve alongside you, to pull the best out of you while both of you bow together in prayer. It's deeper than attraction. It's spiritual alignment. This person will see your scars and still honor your soul. They will not complete you. Only Allah can do that. But they will complement you in your purpose. Have you ever felt that something bigger is preparing you behind the scenes? That the delays weren't punishments, but divine protection? It wasn't time yet. You weren't ready. They weren't ready. The path was still crooked and your heart was still healing. But now, something feels different. You're not desperate anymore. You've learned to be content. You've grown. You've started loving Allah more than the idea of being loved by someone. And that's exactly when Allah begins to move. Sometimes the call doesn't come until you stop checking your phone, until you stop begging, until you start trusting. Divine love requires divine timing. And Allah is never early, nor is He ever late. You don't need to force it. You don't need to chase it. What's written for you will be brought into your life in the most unexpected way, and you will know. Not because they look like your checklist, but because your soul will recognize what your heart has been making dua for all along. The wait wasn't in vain. Every tear was seen. Every lonely night was counted. And Allah was preparing not just someone for you, but preparing you for someone. So when the call comes, and it will come, don't be surprised. Be grateful, because heaven writes stories that this world cannot understand. And when your kingdom spouse appears, you'll realize why it had to take so long. You'll thank Allah for the detours, the heartbreaks, and the moments you felt forgotten. Because when Allah brings two souls together for His sake, nothing can separate them. Not time, not distance, not delay. The call is coming. And when it does, you'll know it's not just a person calling. It's destiny answering. Before a divine connection arrives in the physical world, Allah often places subtle signs in the spiritual realm. And these signs aren't loud or dramatic. They're quiet, persistent whispers that echo within your soul. You begin to feel different, not just about love, but about yourself. You start sensing that something important is drawing near, though you can't quite explain why. It's as if your spirit knows before your mind can grasp it. Your kingdom spouse is approaching. One of the most powerful signs is the birth of inner peace. After seasons of pain, confusion, and broken expectations, you no longer feel desperate for someone to complete you. You find joy in solitude. You no longer search for someone to heal you, because Allah has already begun that healing. And that peace, it's a sign. Allah doesn't bring a divine spouse into your life when you're still emotionally chained to the past. He waits until you've returned to him first. That's why, for many, the season just before the meeting is often filled with stillness and self-realization. It's not empty, it's preparation. Another sign is a recurring pull towards purity and growth. You suddenly desire to better yourself, to get closer to Allah, to protect your heart and your energy. You begin praying for a spouse, not out of loneliness but out of purpose. You stop asking, when will they come? And instead whisper, Ya Allah, prepare me for them. This shift in intention is crucial. Because a kingdom marriage isn't built on desire alone. It's founded on spiritual alignment, and that begins with you. Many people also experience dreams, not just romantic dreams, but symbolic ones. You may dream of weddings, of unknown faces filled with light, or simply of a presence that brings peace. These dreams might not make sense logically, but spiritually, they leave an impact. In Islam, dreams are a powerful realm through which Allah can comfort, guide, or confirm. Of course, not every dream is prophetic, but some serve as encouragements that the heart is being heard. And then there's the clearing of the past. Right before a divine meeting, Allah often allows people or situations from the past to resurface. Not to hurt you again, but to test your growth. Have you really let go? Are you truly healed? When you respond with calm, with forgiveness, with detachment, that's a sign that your soul has moved on. That you are finally ready to receive what you once couldn't carry. One of the most beautiful signs is when your prayers shift. You no longer just pray for someone, you start praying with someone in mind. You say, Ya Allah, bless the one you are preparing for me. Guide them, protect them, bring us together in your timing. And though you don't know them yet, your heart carries them in secret dua. That's love, born in the unseen, rooted in sincerity. These signs are not coincidences. They are divine preparations. Allah never just throws two souls together without intention. Every moment of peace, every whisper of readiness, every act of surrender is a sign that the heavens are aligning. And when the moment comes, you won't need confirmation. You'll just know your soul has been expecting it all along. The wait can be exhausting. It can feel endless, lonely, and at times, even unfair. You've cried out to Allah. You've prayed in the quiet hours of the night. You've watched others find love while you remain in a season of solitude. And yet, something within you refuses to let go of the hope. That inner hope is not your imagination. It's your fitra, your divine instinct, whispering that what you've been waiting for is still coming. But here's what many people forget. The delay is not a denial. It's a divine process. Sometimes, Allah holds back what you desire most because He's still working on you. Not to punish you, but to protect you. A kingdom spouse isn't just a partner in the worldly sense. They are your mirror, your motivator, your prayer partner, your test, and your mercy. And such a sacred bond requires preparation. Allah is refining your character, polishing your soul, and shaping your heart. You've been through the heartbreaks that nearly crushed you. Not because Allah wanted you to suffer, but because He was teaching you how to recognize real love when it finally arrives. In these seasons of waiting, you're not being forgotten. You're being fortified. Your patience is being trained. Your emotional endurance is being stretched. Your reliance on Allah is being strengthened. Because when your kingdom spouse arrives, the relationship will not be a fantasy. It will be a mission. And you need to be spiritually ready to carry it. But let's be honest. Waiting doesn't always feel spiritual. It can feel frustrating. You see others getting married, moving forward, building families, and you start to wonder, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you with full certainty, nothing is wrong with you. In fact, it may be that everything is right with you, and that's why Allah is taking His time. Because what He's preparing for you is not average. And if it takes longer, it's only because it's greater. Your tears are not wasted. They are seen. They are heard. Every silent prayer, every quiet Ameen, whispered through heartbreak, has risen to the skies. And the more you surrender, the more you trust that Allah's plan is not working against you, but for you, the more peace you will begin to feel. When you let go of the timeline, you make room for the miracle. When you stop chasing and start preparing, you begin to attract what's written for you. And then one day, without warning, the wait will end. The call will come. The path will open. And everything that didn't make sense will suddenly click into place. You'll see that Allah wasn't delaying. He was arranging. He wasn't ignoring you. He was loving you in the most perfect, patient way. So don't lose heart. Keep praying. Keep growing. Keep trusting. Because the wait is not empty. It's sacred. And it's preparing you for something worth every second. Not every person who walks into your life is meant to stay. Some come to teach us, some come to test. And a rare few come to transform, not just your life, but your soul. Before your kingdom spouse appears, Allah will often allow imitations to cross your path. These relationships may feel intense, emotional, even spiritual. But deep down, something always feels off. Why? Because they are not meant to complete your journey, only to refine you for the one who will. You may have already encountered people who looked promising at first, kind, attentive, even religious. Yet somehow, the connection led you to confusion, not clarity. You tried to make it work, prayed about it, hoped for the best. But in the end, the door closed. And perhaps it left you questioning your worth, your value, your readiness. But here's the truth. Allah protects by removing. What you saw as rejection was actually redirection. That person wasn't your kingdom spouse. They were your preparation for them. When Allah is preparing you for a divine connection, He allows false attachments to fall away. Because a heart full of past entanglements cannot fully receive the love that is meant to anchor it. The pain you felt wasn't pointless. It was pulling you back to yourself, and more importantly, back to Him. The loss taught you what you truly need, not just what you want. It clarified your values. It stripped away the illusion of love so that real love could finally be recognized. You may have noticed that your standards have changed. What used to impress you no longer moves you. You're no longer interested in someone who merely quotes verses. You want someone who lives them. You're no longer drawn to surface-level charm, but to character, to humility, to sincerity in faith. These changes aren't random. They're signs that your soul is aligning with your future. Allah is molding your heart to recognize your kingdom spouse, someone who prays with you, not just for you, someone who sees the beauty in your faith, not just your face. And here's a beautiful secret. Your kingdom spouse is going through the same process. They're also being tested, refined, prepared. Their heart is being softened. Their character is being purified. Perhaps they too have walked away from people who were not meant for them. And just like you, they are learning what love truly means in the eyes of Allah. So if you feel like you've faced disappointment after disappointment, understand that it's not a sign that love is avoiding you. It's a sign that true love, divine love, is being preserved for the right time with the right soul. Allah never subtracts without the intention of multiplying. What was taken wasn't your ending, it was your clearing. Because when your heart is finally ready and your soul is fully open, your kingdom spouse will arrive. And everything that once broke you will become the proof that Allah never forgot you. When Allah is about to send your kingdom spouse, you may begin to notice a divine alignment taking place in your life, not just emotionally, but spiritually and circumstantially. It's as if the universe begins to move things around in subtle but significant ways. Old friendships dissolve peacefully. Certain environments that once felt comfortable now feel foreign. You start saying no to distractions and yes to growth. It's not just a coincidence, it's preparation. Allah is rearranging your external world to match the internal transformation that is happening within you. You might suddenly find yourself in places you never expected to be. Attending a new masjid, traveling to unfamiliar cities, meeting people through surprising connections. These moments often feel random, but in hindsight, they were strategic. Your steps are being divinely ordered, and sometimes the path to your kingdom spouse requires you to shift directions entirely. The person written for you might not be in the places you've been searching. They might be waiting in the places Allah is leading you to. There is also a shift in your energy. You begin to protect your peace more intentionally. You start to guard your heart, not out of fear, but out of understanding its value. You no longer entertain situations that leave you emotionally drained. You start to feel a deeper connection with your prayers, especially your dua. You're not just asking for a spouse anymore. You're asking for someone who will draw you nearer to Jannah. The shift in prayer is a sign. Your heart is maturing. Your soul is preparing. You're no longer looking for romance. You're looking for purpose. People may even begin to sense the change in you. They may not know what's happening, but they'll feel that you're different, more focused, more reserved, more grounded. That's what happens when you're aligning with your divine destiny. Allah is covering you, protecting your light, preparing your spirit. Because when two souls are meant to meet, it's not just about timing. It's about readiness. Both hearts must be surrendered. Both lives must be aligned. Sometimes, that alignment includes discomfort. Doors will close, not because you're failing, but because they were not a part of your journey forward. You may lose people who once felt essential. You may walk away from jobs, routines, or habits that no longer serve your higher calling. It can feel like everything is shifting at once. But rather than fight it, trust it. Because divine alignment often looks like disruption until the plan is revealed. Eventually, you'll realize that everything was pointing to something greater. The pain, the pauses, the changes. They were all preparing you to recognize your kingdom spouse when they appear. Not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. And when that moment comes, it will not feel forced. It will feel familiar. As if your soul has finally arrived home. Because when Allah aligns two hearts under His guidance, the connection flows with peace, purpose, and the unshakable sense that this, finally, is what you were waiting for. There's a moment in every believer's journey where the heart begins to sense that something is near. It's not always logical. It's not based on anything external, but deep within your ruh, your soul. There's a quiet whisper that says, "Get ready." You may find yourself waking up earlier than usual, drawn to the solitude of Fajr. You might start feeling more present in your du'as, lingering longer in sujood, saying less with your words but more with your heart. These are not random shifts. They are spiritual signs that something or someone is about to enter your life. That someone could very well be your kingdom spouse. When Allah is preparing to unite two souls, He doesn't always make an announcement. Instead, He begins by softening the heart, purifying the intentions, and increasing your taqwa, your awareness of Him. You begin to desire purity over passion, prayer over popularity, and faith over fantasy. And most importantly, you start to let go of control. You no longer chase what's not chasing you. You stop forcing what doesn't flow. You allow yourself to trust that what is written for you will find you, not because you deserve it, but because Allah is merciful. This internal shift can feel subtle at first. You may start feeling content being alone, not out of bitterness, but because you finally made peace with yourself. You no longer fear being single. You embrace it as a season of refinement. You see your solitude not as a punishment, but as a gift. A space where you and Allah are building a foundation that no relationship can replace. That sense of peace is one of the most powerful signs that you're close to receiving what you've been praying for. You might also start receiving unexpected signs. Maybe someone mentions marriage in passing, or you feel prompted to pray istikhara without knowing why. Your heart may begin to feel a mix of nervousness and calm, not anxiety, but readiness. That's how Allah prepares His servants, through subtle nudges that bring the soul into alignment before the body follows. And when the call finally comes, whether it's a message, a proposal, or a quiet moment that leads to something sacred, you will know. Not because it's dramatic, not because it's perfect, but because it feels divinely timed. Your heart will recognize the tranquility of it. Your soul will feel anchored. There won't be chaos. There won't be confusion. Only clarity. Allah doesn't just answer prayers. He orchestrates their fulfillment. Every delay, every heartbreak, every lonely night was preparing your heart to be able to receive the one He had chosen for you from the very beginning. So if you feel that inner pull, that stillness that says, prepare, trust it. Because sometimes the most powerful signs are the ones that don't come with noise. They come with peace. And peace is always the language of divine arrival. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.